This video is for educational purposes on biomechanics and gardening, not medical advice. That full watering can and those plastic hanging pots out on the balcony are silently placing a tremendous amount of pressure on your spinal discs every single morning. But the lower back pain isn't even the worst part. There is a mistake slowly leaching something invisible, hidden chemical residues, right into your soil. According to a study published in the Journal of Biomechanics, when you reach forward and lift a weight just 2 feet away from your body, your spine becomes a miscalculated lever. The pressure on your lumbar discs multiplies exponentially, pressing down on your cartilage with a force equivalent to nearly 400 pounds. A little bit every day, this erosion happens in silence, stealing the inherent flexibility of a body entering an age that needs to be cherished. As we cross into our 50s, waking up in the morning often begins with a soft sigh. That sharp ache in the lower back or the stiff tension in our shoulders. Many of us turn to plants to soothe our minds, yet we fail to realize that spinal degeneration from container gardening is far too steep a price, one that nature never actually demands. I still remember vividly that autumn morning years ago. I strained myself to lift a soaking wet terracotta pot, weighing about 30 pounds from the corner of the porch to a sunny spot. Just a split second in the wrong posture, and a dry crack echoed from my lower spine. Everything collapsed. I was bedridden for 2 straight weeks, watching my garden wither through the window pane. During those days of forced stillness, looking at the swaying branches outside, I suddenly realized a profound lesson. A resilient tree always bends with the wind. It doesn't brace itself against gravity or the storms. So why do we constantly twist, bend, and force our bodies to fight against nature? This garden was born to heal you, not to drain your strength. And today, we will rediscover that peace together, starting with restoring balance to our own feet and our own spine. Every plant has a place it belongs in the natural world. But on these narrow balconies or small porches, we inadvertently disrupt that order. We cram things right down to the floor or hang them precariously at heights far beyond our reach. Human biomechanics has revealed a quiet yet heavy truth. Our spine operates as a perfect lever system. When you stand up straight, everything is calm and balanced. But the moment you bend your back or stretch your arms out to lift a soaking wet pot just 2 feet away from your body, the weight of that pot is no longer 30 pounds. The pressure concentrated on your lumbar discs is multiplied exponentially, pressing down on your cartilage with a force equivalent to nearly 400 pounds. A little bit every day. This erosion happens in silence, stealing the inherent flexibility of a body entering an age that needs to be cherished. We often think that gardening means enduring fatigue and aching muscles. But nature does not operate through forced strain. For the spine to truly rest, we need to learn how to zone our garden vertically. I call this establishing a safe green zone. Those little sprouts that need you to visit and water them every day. Bring them up to a height between your waist and your chest. By leaning into your own natural height, your shoulders will feel incredibly light. You no longer have to compress your chest and restrict your breath with every movement. Instead, you get to stand tall, stretch your shoulders, and breathe in that rich essential oil scent from the most intimate distance. And to completely remove the burden from your hands, return those heavy, muddy clay soils back to the vast earth outside. Within the confines of a container, the root system needs aeration, and your spine needs lightness. When I began mixing peat moss, coconut coir, and porous perlite stones into my potting mix, my pots suddenly became half as heavy. Moving them to catch the early morning sun is now as light as a feather. The piercing pains along my spine that used to haunt me at the turn of every season have completely vanished, restoring to me a profound sense of ease and total tranquility in every mindful step I take around the porch. At the beginning of our story, I mentioned a hidden mistake in the corner of the balcony, something silently leaching into the soil. It is truly heartbreaking to realize that the cheap plastic pots we casually buy to nurture life are slowly wearing away the purity of our garden. Under the harsh heat of the sun, ultraviolet rays slowly break down the chemical bonds on the walls of these pots. This faint dust isn't just dirt. It carries millions of invisible microplastic particles. When the watering washes over it, those tiny fragments soak deep into the dark soil, wrapping around delicate young roots and following the vascular flow up into every leaf, into every plump tomato we so carefully harvest and eat each morning. It is sad when the very place we turn to for soothing our soul and nourishing our health harbors a seed of unease. These hidden chemical residues we never agreed to invite into our bodies. But nature always leaves us a quiet path. To restore purity to the soil and water, we don't need to trade it for expensive and complicated industrial plastic drip systems. The solution has actually been resting peacefully in the earth for thousands of years. It is the Olla pot, a rustic, unglazed terracotta vessel that knows how to breathe with the rhythm of nature. When you bury this terracotta pot in the center of your container, you create a reverse osmosis watering network. The coarse ceramic wall contains countless microscopic capillaries. As the outer layer of soil begins to dry, the plant's roots naturally create a suction, gently drawing water out of the pot in a slow, peaceful manner. The plant drinks exactly what it needs, no more, no less. And do you know the most wonderful thing about this? When the Olla takes over the watering beneath the soil, you are completely freed from the burden of carrying heavy 3-gallon watering cans, twisting your spine to water each plant every early morning. Your shoulders and cartilage get to rest, while your wallet is no longer drained by medical bills or inorganic gardening accessories. The water finds its own way to the roots, leaving the surface dry, stopping mold from growing. A complete state of tranquility where both human and plant heal themselves. Have you ever stepped inside after a morning of tidying up the garden, only to feel your fingers so stiff and your wrists so numb that you can barely hold a cup of tea? That dull, aching throb is sometimes the very first sign of damage to your carpal tunnel. And the cause often stems from the industrial, spring-loaded pruners we grip and squeeze with all our might every single day. Modern tools usually rely on high-tension springs to create rebound force. With every single squeeze, that kickback delivers an invisible, tiny blow to your fragile cartilage. But when we return to ancient gardening philosophies, like the gravity-balanced designs of the Japanese, you will discover a profound understanding and respect for the human body. The elegance lies in the fact that the weight of the tool is calculated and perfectly distributed right at the handle. When the pruners naturally balance in your hands, you no longer have to tense your muscles to force them. Every cut becomes unhurried, relying on the natural weight of the carbon steel blade. And to completely protect shoulders that are entering their twilight years, I always remind myself of a quiet principle: the 45-degree cutting angle. Lower your elbows, relax your shoulders. Never raise your elbow to chest level or stretch too far just to reach a dry branch. Instead of twisting your spine, let your feet gently carry you closer. This one small change won't just stop you from having to throw away rusty plastic shears every spring, but it will keep your hands flexible so you can continue to gently caress those new sprouts for many, many years to come. We often carry a burdensome habit from the large agricultural fields right into our tiny balcony garden, and that is the act of tilling. Every time a harvest season ends, we use rakes and spades to churn up the soil. Trying to loosen the dirt this way inadvertently forces your spine to bend and twist in a cramped space, leaving the cartilage that so desperately needs rest feeling even more exhausted. But did you know, beneath that quiet surface lies an entire network of life, silently doing that heavy lifting for us? Diligent earthworms and countless fragile, microscopic fungal threads intertwine to create the natural respiratory system of the earth. When we stop jabbing and churning up the surface, we don't just save our shoulders from fatigue. We preserve a peaceful home for thousands of these tiny creatures. Gardeners of old often passed down a very gentle secret. When harvesting a short-term vegetable, instead of using the strength of your wrist to yank it hard and rip the roots out violently, you simply use your shears to gently snip the base right at the soil level. Leave the old root system perfectly intact, sleeping peacefully inside the pot. As time goes by, those roots will quietly decompose on their own, leaving behind thousands of microscopic tunnels that naturally aerate the soil. You will never again have to lug heavy new bags of potting soil from the supermarket to your home, saving both your money and your energy. The microbial ecosystem has already reset the perfect balance. The only thing we need to do to return this respect is to embrace the surface of the pot with a layer of fallen autumn leaves. Let patience replace the toil, and let the garden know how to revive itself. Our human bodies, in the end, are much like a tree stretching out to plant its roots deep into the earth. A tree can never produce its most brilliant flowers if its root system is crushed and damaged. In the exact same way, you can never nurture a lush, peaceful garden on a spine that is exhausted and aching. True healing must be a closed, harmonious circle, a place where nature embraces your soul and the way you work nurtures your own body in return. Over the past 15 years, the silent mistakes, the sharp pains in the lower back, and the moment of realizing the magic of a 45-degree cutting angle, all of these have been carefully recorded by me right under this porch. When you stand tall at your green zone, when you let the Olla pot carry the water, when you let the earthworms till the soil for you, you are no longer fighting against nature. You are moving with it. And before the gentle darkness falls to let the plants drift into sleep, I want to hear your story. What about you? Is there a pot out on your porch that is silently draining your strength every morning? Tell me about it in the comments, and together we will find a way to place it back into its rightful position of peace. Now, your spine may finally be at rest after all we've shared today. But there is something else quietly working against you, something invisible, leaching from the very walls of the containers you trust. On this channel, I've just released an investigation that you need to see. It's about those hidden chemical residues seeping from cheap plastic pots, microscopic particles traveling from the soil into the roots, into the leaves, into the food you harvest with your own hands, and what these compounds could be doing to your body over years of silent, daily exposure. That video is waiting for you on the screen right now. Tap it before you go, because a healthy spine deserves a truly clean harvest. May you and your garden always be sheltered in tranquility. I will see you there on another dewy morning.